What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. As always, bringing you some very cool guests. So sit back, relax, grab a drink or whatever, and tune into this show. My next guest is a certified Pilates teacher, breathwork habits and mindset coach, founder of online Pilates classes, and also podcast host of Be It Till You See It. So she is living label free all the way around. Please welcome Leslie Logan. Leslie, thank you for joining us today.
Deanna, thank you for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh,
you have such great energy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to keep it up for you. Like before we started recording, I told you it's been a weird day. So I'm just trying to shake all that off and just be present with my guests and have dynamic conversations. So you do a lot.
Well, it sounds like a lot. Whenever I hear that, it sounds like a lot. And since some of it just kind of happens, like I studied all of it because I could see how it would affect. I'm on a mission for more bodies to do Pilates, but how do people do Pilates if they don't have a habit, if they can't be consistent, if they think they can't do it? Like, so all that mindset and habit training came in because I was trying to help people see what was possible for them. And then the breath work just came because Joseph Pilates was really big on breathing, but in his exercises, he actually doesn't tell you when to breathe. Like teachers will tell you, I don't, because you should breathe. Like when you walk down the street, you don't go inhale, right leg, exhale, left leg. So in your Pilates practice, you very rarely, unless that's like one of the few exercises has a breath pattern. So I was like, well, if he was big on breath, what was that about? And I read the book Breathe and I went down that journey and realized that like with just a little bit of the breath work training, I could help people in a way that maybe the Pilates or the mindset coaching couldn't, because sometimes you just need to meditate. And I don't know about you, Deanna, I have a really hard time sitting still and meditating.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's kind of where it all kind of came together.
Yeah, so first of all, you've invested a lot into your skill set. So that's why when I say you do a lot, because that doesn't come easy. You got to like really focus. You got to put that time into learning those skills. So, but yes, I have a hard time sitting still too. I mean, there are times throughout the month, which I'm sure as a woman you can relate, where I'm able to be a little bit more relaxed. But we all know as a woman, if you're a woman listening, that there are very few weeks in the month that we're normal.
Oh, I know. That's a whole study that I've read into a little bit and like dabbled and like, I'm keeping myself from like getting trained in that because I like don't need another one, but it is true. Like there are a couple weeks of the month where you feel freaking amazing and you can take on all. And then there's a couple weeks where you just want to be by yourself and that's okay too.
Yeah. So that's where the breath work comes in. Yeah. Inhale, exhale. I'm very familiar with breath work with yoga. I do a lot of yoga. So like, I really like, what they call something breathing, so that I'm very mindful of that when I'm on the mat and I'm like there and present and just inhale and exhale. And when I lift, cause I'm a former bodybuilder, I still lift, but, I don't compete anymore. And I'm always like mindful of like when I'm lifting to breathe properly, because it's so important just for your body all over and to clear your head.
You are correct. When I do barbell training with my dad and my husband once a week with our trainer, and you got to exhale when you're pushing that bar up. Like you better exhale, and people like to hold their breath there or they don't breathe in at all. So yeah, it's, every fitness modality has a breath technique, and then there's the way you breathe in life. And what is very interesting is how much people in life don't do the correct breathing. Like they just breathe really shallowly and through their mouth. And that causes, and we wonder why everyone's so stressed out. But when you breathe really shallow and through your mouth, it's very activating. And then that shallow breathing kicks off your nervous system, be like, oh, I'm in fear. I need to go into fear mode. Yeah. And so you're just living that way. And if we all were to like actually do abdominal thoracic breathing when we're just sitting here, listening to this podcast, just a big inhale through the nose where your diaphragm expands, your belly inflates, your lungs inflate, and then you exhale and everything goes out through the nose as well. Yeah. What they have found is that like actually reduces hypertension, other heart issues. You can cure yourself from like a sinus infection. Like if we just do it all through our nose, that takes training.
Yeah, for sure. So what made you get into being a Pilates teacher? Were you always doing your own thing, or were you in corporate before this?
Oh, no, I actually was running a jewelry store.
Oh, okay.
High-end jewelry store with accessories and, just, it was the best.
I like how you do that with accessories.
With accessories. Like, I mean, When you come to my house in Vegas and you go to one of my rooms, it's just sunglasses, jewelry, and hats and purses. Like, it's just like it's a boutique, and everyone's like, where's this from? I'm like, I used to be in jewelry. And so it just keeps expanding. Like, it just keeps going, even though it's been 15 years. So I did that. And I had a friend invite me to a Pilates class, and I was like, that's BS. I can't do all the things it says on the infomercials. I don't believe it. Yeah. But I went. Yeah. I really wanted a friend, to be honest. So I was like, okay, I'll go with her, and then we'll have some avocado toast, and I'll never have to go back. I'll have this like shared experience. I'll never do it again. But I loved it so much. I went every day. And then when I moved to LA, and I left my retail job, I became a Pilates instructor because someone said, you should do it. You should teach it. And even though it was a recession, even though people were like getting rid of their cable bills, I was booking up Pilates clients. And I know it's because I was super passionate about it. And it changed my life, because when I went to Pilates, I was a trainer, like part-time. I was trying to do it on the side, and I was an ex-athlete. And so I was like, I know my body, I don't need this class, but I felt muscles I never felt before. Yeah. And so then I was like, well, what is this? How I've never felt this before. And so then I went through this whole thing, and I just went on this. And so I made everyone do Pilates. Like, everybody needs it. Bodybuilders need it. Athletes need it. Everyone needs it.
It's like yoga. I feel like they're kind of synergistic with, like, working your body and stretching it out. I've done Pilates a couple times. I love it. And you're right. Like, even though I'm very strong lifting weights, like huge, I'm strong for a girl. Pilates is tough.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God, I'm shaking.
Yeah. Because they only let you do a few reps. Yeah. That's it. You have to do the best you can. And you have to use all those little muscles. And when you are lifting weights, it's your body's like, oh, I'll just do the easiest thing. So we'll use our big giant muscles. And so those little ones, it's like if you're at the gym and you go do a fly, the first time you go to do a fly, you're going to grab 1 pound weights. Most people, it's like, oh my God, what is this? It's kind of like that, but in every exercise. Yeah, no, it's very intense, and it's expensive to do. Like, so if you were to do it in person here, like there's a place down the street that I love. It's called Melt Pilates and Hot Yoga. And I love their classes. Love it. They're awesome. But it's just so expensive for me. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could like invest in this for myself. So what's the difference between online versus in person? Yeah. So that's actually kind of why we created online Pilates classes.com. If you just look up online Pilates classes, you'll just find a lot of things. So that's why I created mine. It's because I actually wanted people to have accessibility. Okay. And so not just ease of access and affordability, but also time. So most fitness boutiques, like most boutique fitness places, the classes are an hour. Why are they an hour? Well, people think they need to work out for an hour. They need to pay the teacher for an hour. Like, there's all these reasons, right? The truth is that if you're doing Pilates, you can do a 20-minute workout, a 30-minute workout. If you want to do a full hour, you could do more, but I wanted people to have ease of, like, everyone has 20 minutes to work out, right? So I wanted that. And then also I just wanted the price point to be something people could afford. And so because Pilates does have this thing for being expensive, the equipment is expensive, everyone. It's like insane. You can like for my own Pilates studio was like $50,000 in equipment. And that's just one of everything. That's not like, I can't do like a class of 5 people doing the exact same thing. Right. Everyone have to do something different. So by creating an option for people to do online, I was allowing people to do it when they're in the office, and also they could pay, about $10 a week. Depending on the membership. It might be a little bit more if you actually have equipment, but for most people doing the mat, it's $10 a week.
So all they need is the mat to do your online Pilates classes.
Yeah. So Joseph Pilates invented the mat work first. And then he realized that it was really hard. It's really hard. If anyone's ever done a body weight workout, yes, it's really hard. You'd be surprised. But he realized that they had weaknesses and balances. And so that's where the equipment came. And then when you look at what people are marketing Pilates, they market the equipment stuff. Yeah. But the truth is that we all can do Pilates from our own home. You don't need to go somewhere. You don't need to buy anything fancy. And that is really important to me because I know, and you mentioned it earlier, Pilates helps you do everything better. It's not Pilates it's Pilates and. So if you want to weight lift, you can do it. You can do it as a warm up. You can do your mat work as a warm up and then lift weights. You can do it as a cool down if you don't like to stretch.
What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Can we get a round of applause today? Woo! Today I'm excited to announce MANSCAPED launched their Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's for your not so private parts. I'm talking about a leveled up hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. And let me tell you something. Oh, it smells so good. My man wears this every day. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care kit for the everyday man and covers you from head to toe. Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and use the code LABELFREE20 for 20% off and free shipping. And enjoy. No, I'm a believer in, balance. So, as a weightlifter, bodybuilder, whatever, I believe in stretching because I don't want injury. I mean, I've had very few, I don't even know if you'd call them injuries. It was just where like my muscles and my glutes got very tight. So I had a piriformis flare up and it was like lasted for 30 days. But other than that, I've never had any real injuries because I've always maintained like that balance in my body to make sure that I'm keeping my joints, good, and just yoga and the Pilates helped a lot too. So, it was.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. So many people don't like to stretch.
Yeah.
Or when they stretch, they like kind of like lean over their legs or they like do a little thing. And the balance is so key. If you are super strong, but not flexible, you're going to tear something. Yep. If you're super flexible and not strong, you're going to dislocate something. And so we really do have to have a balance. And so I'm glad you're a fan of that because it allows you to actually lift more and longer.
Yes, for sure. What did you think about someone that's never done anything like Pilates, yoga, or even or lifting to get into Pilates now if they listen to this episode?
Yeah. What do I think they should do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, hello, you can come play with me. But the truth is I want you to just find a place on your floor that you can lay down. And I want you to like lay on the ground, move your arms and legs around. No, you're not going to hit anything. That's going to be your spot. And then, it's easy to go, I'm just going to jump into this class over here. Not every teacher is trained the same and not all Pilates is created equal. So do yourself a favor and do some due diligence. Make sure they actually had a training. How long was their training? Is it a weekend or was it a year? Like you want hours that they've trained because you are going to be new. And if they're not used to teaching a newbie, if they're not teaching, then you'll hate it. And so if you don't like the first class you do, keep going until you find a teacher who actually speaks to you, because that I find is really interesting. A lot of people try Pilates. They maybe didn't resonate with the teacher or the style, and then they don't do it. But every teacher has their own way of teaching it. And so you really want to find someone who can speak to your body.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a very good point. And so if somebody signs up for your online Pilates classes, are they working with you virtually then to go through the class? Are they pre-recorded? Is it live? What's that look like?
Kind of both. So if you're brand new to Pilates, we actually have an intro series. So we would recommend you start there because there are 3 classes that are 10 to 15 minutes long. So really, and they're just going over like, these are the foundational exercises, get really good at these. And then you can go into any class, including ours, without having to go, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Then on my website, I teach some of the classes and then I have teachers who teach some of the classes. And so, there's just different body types, different people, different life experiences that are teaching. And so each week we release a new class and then you take that class all week long. And so it is pre-recorded, but you get to compare yourself to yourself. So if you take class when it drops on Tuesday and then take it on Thursday and you notice that things were easier on Thursday, you can go, oh, I warmed myself up. I understand this better. Or if it's harder, you can go, what did I do on Wednesday? Yeah, right. That this is harder. So I really believe in comparing ourselves. So we can actually see what growth and what possibilities have happened for you in that week. And then the next week it changes. And so that helps hold you accountable. The other thing that was really big for me is the reason we did is I like a community. And that's why people like to go to the gym, right? You like the community. So by everyone taking the exact same class whenever it was good for them, then people can talk about it just like as if they went to class together. So that's really big for me. So it's me and a few others. And then once a month we do a live class cool. That you can hang out with me and the other teachers, ask questions, get eyes on your body, that kind of thing.
I love it. Okay. So we talked a lot about that. Talk about so we already talked a little bit about breath work, but habits and mindset. So I'm very big into mindset. Like, I think that's really huge. People don't really tap into that enough and really understand that they are in control of their habits, their mood, their attitude, just where they're going in life. And so for me, I always love having these conversations. So talk to us about what got you into being a coach around those things.
Yeah. So I would notice after, 15 years of teaching, I was noticing that people would get so hard on themselves, they're actually getting their own way. And I was kind of like, and so many people should have been further along and should have seen the results they're having, but their mindset was in the way. Like I could tell, I know what their trainer was giving them as workouts. I know what their nutritionist was giving them. I know what I was giving them, and they still weren't seeing the results they wanted. But they would say things like, oh, it's always like this. Oh, it never works for me. And the truth is that our brain and body listen to what we say. That's what is going on, right? So I wanted to study mindset and habits because I was like, how do I help people get out of the habit of telling themselves they can't do something, and also understand that they are in control of the mindset. Like, you're not born a Debbie Downer. You're not born, sorry for the Debbies out there. You're not born like a glass, we all have control over this. It is a mindset choice. And then it's the habit of catching yourself when you shift the other way. And so I study with two different people. With habits, I study with BJ Fogg, who is the founder of the Behavioral Science program at Stanford. He also is the person who trained Instagram founders on like how to create habits, right? So like, yeah, Instagram used to be 3 clicks and then you got like a quick of dopamine, right? And so here's how to create a habit, everyone. You don't need 21 days, you don't need 72 days, or whatever people are telling you. You need emotions that actually go towards the habit of feeling good. So if you want something to be a habit in your life, you actually have to feel good about it. You have to hit the dopamine in your brain. So you actually want to celebrate. So, let's say you want to have the habit of like putting your dishes in the sink after you have dinner. Then you will actually put the dishes in the sink after you have dinner and you'll go, I'm so amazing. I put the dishes in the sink. Hi. Like, it sounds so cheesy, but you are, especially my perfections and overachievers out there, but you actually have to celebrate it. That could be a high five. So if you have kids, it's so much easier because you can like high five. They love to celebrate. But you need to have that. If you miss a day and you go, oh, I'm an idiot, that's the same thing I do all the time, your brain is going to go, oh, putting the dishes away makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with a workout. If you want to work out, but you miss a workout and you get mad at yourself, oh, going to the gym makes me feel bad, makes me feel stressed, so your brain's not going to search for opportunities to work out because it doesn't make it feel good. Yeah. You actually have to trick yourself into feeling good around the things that you want to keep in your life, and then watching the negative thoughts around the things that you want to have in your life. Otherwise you won't have them. Yeah.
That's a really great trick that you just shared with everybody. So if somebody wants to work with you and they're interested in your coaching, what does that look like? So they come to you and say, hey, Leslie, I love your attitude, love what you're all about. So what does that process look like for a client?
Yeah. So if you want to work with me, you go to onlinepilatesclasses.com. You can check out, we have a few different membership options based on what you have access to. And then what we do is we obviously take the classes, because inside the class, we do mindset tips. Okay. Sometimes we have breath work sessions in there, especially if that's what the theme of the class is on. And then inside the community, we actually do our mindset and habits inside of there. So the community is getting that coaching constantly. And then once a month, join the live. And that way you can really meet other people. You can ask me anything. It's a really cool, myself and the other teachers are very open and honest and authentic. And we really just want to help people figure out how to support themselves even more with using Pilates as the vehicle for doing that.
Love it. I can tell, I can feel your energy that you really want to help people. So tell us a little bit about we're getting close on time, but tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Oh, thank you. So I started Be It Till You See It because people are like, oh, it's a Pilates podcast. It's not, because you have to do Pilates. You can't listen to it. So it's a little complicated, but I really was noticing that a lot of people, the question I kept getting asked is like, how are you so confident? And I was like, well, that's a very interesting question, because I don't know that I feel confident in everything that I do, but I go into it as if I'm the most confident person in the room. For example, just before I had this call, I was on another call and I was nervous and I was like, oh my God, are they going to like me? What is this going to be? And so, but I acted like the person I want to show up, which is just fully me, right? Like so being it till you see it is not faking it till you make it. It's like just being yourself, the higher version of you that you want to show up in that room. And confidence actually comes from doing things. And so so I wanted to have a podcast that would help people either hear stories of how people did things scared, did things imperfectly, took messy action, and how they got there, or have guests on that talk about why we can't, hence like our cycles. There is a couple weeks every month, ladies, that you don't actually feel like showing up. So when are those? So you don't put your big meeting in that week.
Yeah.
So what are the hormones or supplement imbalances, things like that could keep us from showing up as ourselves and feeling confident? And also, like, how are people actually doing it and sharing those stories and truly just like peeling the curtain back and showing that most people didn't know what they were doing. They're just doing the best they could. And so it's a fun way for me to have conversation with people and also re-inspire me, and then hopefully get other people to take some messy action.
I love it. And so are you on social media? You want people to follow you there? Where can they follow you?
Yeah, you can find me. I'm on Instagram at leslie.logan. And then I'm trying to dabble in the TikTok world. So I'm an elder millennial, everyone. It just feels really weird. So I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And then you can listen to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. I will put all those links in the show notes, you guys. So if you connect with Leslie, interested to listen to her podcast or interested in taking some Pilates, go to the show notes, click on the links and go follow her, support her, listen to her, all those great things. So before we say goodbye, what are some last words of wisdom or advice you'd like to leave with them?
Yeah. So I love to remind people of this. Perfect is boring and nobody wants to be friends with perfect. Like if you have a perfect friend, you're like, are my socks even clean enough to be in their house? Like if I had to take off this, like that's a whole thing, right? Yeah. So ditch the perfection and do the thing that you want to do. And you're waiting until you're ready or until things are perfect, because they never will be. And it's like it's so contextual, and it's pretty boring once you're there at the perfect moment. Like it's the flaws, the mistakes, the obstacles that are in the way that makes things more exciting and more adventurous and take you where you're going to go.
I completely agree with Leslie. Thank you for dropping all this stuff on us today. What a great conversation. And you left some pearls of wisdom in there for tools people can use, like the breathing and just some other things that I think will help our listeners as they're listening to this. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu, Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, comment, rate, review, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.